Hello everyone and welcome back to the Spearhead cast. Well, Ironside cast, I keep saying Spearhead cast. I'm so sorry. Anyway, welcome back to the Ironside cast, where we have a 2v2 for you all here on Rails and Metal. It's a victory point match on the Eastern Front. Let's go through the players. Representing Germans today, we have Commando section as the Waffen-SS, straight out the gate with Panzer Tactics. Representing the other Waffen-SS, we have Kakaboo. Without a command choice yet. Goes into service today. We have Kikarung without a commander choice. And finally, Alucard, also without a command choice. I suspect the Soviets will pick something shortly though, once they spot their Nazi enemies. Let's see if they've picked anything. Or they'll wait, you never know. Alucard seems to be starting with some Fontoviki. Not a bad choice. I like Fontoviki. Fontoviki are pretty decent. The other service going for Conscript into Fontoviki, not a bad choice either. Gives you some map presence early. Gumpay has pushed up pretty far here to deny this building to the Soviets. To try and, stop them from getting ground. And so far that's kind of succeeded. Certainly come to hurt Alucard. Especially now as the Storm Grenadiers able to take the trench. Oh, the Soviets going to be in the back foot here for a while until they can amass enough troops. So the Germans are going for an early Panzerjäger too, and neither side is capturing points really. It's to be to the Soviets' favor because the Soviets could soon get to a point where they can overman this position. Now they're going to send the sappers to capture points. But we need to capture points to get resources after all. Now that's a lot of Fontoviki pointing the rifles here, and looks like Kakaboo is also going for Panzer. We have double Panzer for the Waffen-SS today. That's a lot of potential tanks in the future. It's pretty fascinating to see. Panzerjäger taking the high ground inside the building, but they only have one built window to shoot from. Fontoviki are just going to have a long fight here. Maxim is being prepared. We also have some Hitler Youth coming onto the field, probably to capture ground behind the rest of the forces. The Soviet sappers are just doing their job, securing ground. Oh yeah, one of the Fontoviki are taking some heavy losses. Other squad will remain there though to just keep the fire going. Long firefight. Meanwhile, the Soviets have to get the trench down here. Near the other points, which will certainly be to their advantage. Double Waffen-SS. I did not expect to see double Waffen-SS Panzer at that. They're gonna be quite disadvantageous if they need anything specific other than tanks or decent Panzer Grenadiers. Maxim's going to be arriving shortly, which will certainly be an issue for the Germans. Quickly being rushed up there to the front. We have an MT-34 themselves being prepared, but it's going to not arrive in time. Maxim also being prepared, and more Soviet troops are almost reinforced. Maxim setting up. The Germans realize that they're going to have issues there. You might attempt to flank, but there's a lot more Soviets coming. The Soviets are also just holding down here. It's a very static fight so far. It's not a bad thing. Static fights can generally be fine. Yeah, Germans have set the MG-34 back here though, so they'll be fine for a while. I don't think the Soviets know there's an MG-34 there yet. They're about to learn the hard way. It being thrown. MG-34 opens up. The Soviets realize there's an MG-34. So Maxim's just going to set up back here, I reckon. Other Maxim's going to try and circle around. With some infantry support, potentially. They could actually just flank around here. The Germans have some other troops to cover the flank soon. We got an MG-34 pushing up here for the Waffen-SS. You've tried to push it with Gewehr 43s, and I think I did some damage there. Lots of Hitler Youth with Gewehr 43s. Not a bad choice, all things considered. Gewehr 43, I think, does give them a lot more... what's the word? Firepower in general at all ranges. It's a semi-automatic rifle, after all. Maxim's setting up here. Now starting to fire towards the Hitler Youth, which are not prepared to fight a machine gun. The Maxim setting up here, so the Soviets are just covering ground, but the victory points are in German hands. Or they're both fuel points for that matter, but I'm sure the Soviets can figure out something. At least one of the victory points is still neutral, so they're not bleeding that many points yet. The collapses due to the Maxim fire, and that could be an opening for the Soviets to secure the southern fuel. They're going to secure the southern victory point, or try to, but then there's an MG-44 that opens up on them. The conscripts are going to rush for the fuel point here. Makes sense, there's only 3 Hitler Youth here, which is not going to be able to stop all 6 conscripts at range. At least not for a while. We'll try and pick at them, but both sides are not the best at long-range combat there. Oh, we have a command chest from one of the Soviets, 67th. It's Tank Destroyer. What's the other Soviet? Have they picked anything? They have not. Tank Destroyer versus Double Panzer. We'll see what the other Soviet goes at some point. Germans are taking some losses, by the sounds of it. Indeed, the Mthis is having issues fighting here with the Maxim supporting. 140 HKS set up, and another Schwerwehrmacht Schlepper coming in. So Mthis is going for quick tech up here. Maxim slowly creeping further and further up, which is the advantage of it being a very mobile machine gun being on wheels. Is now the Storm Pioneers can get some shots off on it slowly. We also have a Soviet lieutenant arriving, good to see. Early officers are always useful, I find. MT-42 armed Sturm Grenadiers rushing up to the front. Cover around here. Soviets are staying at range, which is probably smart. More Soviets pushing up. There's lots of fire here. Big long firefight. Sponsorviki are actually in a good position thanks to the stone wall. But the MT-34 will be able to speed them out in time, I think. Oh, so there's some medic bunkers and command bunkers back here they can operate from. Maxim's still doing a good job. We have a Dushka machine gun trying to come up here, but it gets spotted by the MT-44. Also, it's pushing up lots of conscripts now. So it's going to keep the flood of men going. The Soviets are capable of doing, and it's actually working out. They actually are able to suppress the MT-44. So it's clearing the terrain there to allow themselves to move through. Very good play there from the Soviets. Shots keep going. Maxim was cleared out, but they grabbed it again. And the Soviet infantry just keeps arriving. Frontline pushing up. Two pioneers go down. Grenade on the German position. I think the Germans are losing this point. The Germans cannot hold the point. So it's able to secure the central victory point, which will give them the advantage victory point wise. They can keep the pressure going. But Hitler Youth are coming to try and stop it. Equipped with their Gewehr 43s, they get some good shots. But the Soviets managed to decapture the point at the very least. The Soviets can keep up the manpower attrition compared to the Germans for the most part. Excuse me. For the most part, they even brought a SIS up. MT-42 has arrived for the Germans though, but now the SIS has a target. The SIS is going to work already. So far it's been lucky though. Flanking attempt here from the Hitler Youth. They will take out that Dushka, I think. Yep. There's also a command half-track now for the Germans. Lots of machine guns being prepared here. We do have a T-70 arriving and the next wave of Soviet infantry moving. Speaking of infantry, we also have Siberian infantry arriving on the front lines. There's a Pack 40 here. Actually, that's a Pack 38. Never mind. Still, that could deal with the T-70 if they can get a shot in. But the Soviets' massive infantry is showing. This Hitler Youth squad is being overwhelmed by rifle shots. 70 pushing up. Pack 38 got a good shot in. And he keeps driving around. They got the T-70 though. The command choice here for the Soviets is 46th. That is rifle. Okay, so we're gonna have a lot more units arriving infantry-wise for the field for the Soviets soon. That's gonna give them a lot cheaper conscripts to work with. Mthis are relocating southwards with the lieutenant though. As the professional troops are relocating around wherever they are needed. Now neither side is losing victory points, so that's quite a stalemate we've gone into. Germans still control both fuel points though, which will give them an advantage in terms of fuel. Indeed, we already see a Panzer II Lux on the field here for the Waffen-SS. Tank we don't see that often, so it's going to be cool to see it with his little autocannon. They've been calling here. Dushka is now in Soviet hands again. Another Maxim around. Lots of machine guns this day. The UFK are staying pinned. Command half-track slowly creeping up. There is a tank on the team nearby. A good shot there, and there's the command half-track. Crew manages to survive though, and they're pulling back. Luke's being used as an artillery piece because yes, it can actually be used as a light artillery piece. Not the most efficient though, as you can tell. You're only firing 2 centimeter fragmentation rounds. We have a command tank moving up here. There's a assist gun. No penetration chances so far. Yeah, so far the front arm of the Panzer IV is holding up, calling in an artillery strike. This is not the best anti-tank gun after all. But it can be utilized as an artillery piece as well, which is kind of its big advantage. It's like a utility thing. Oh, they get penetrated there and did a lot of damage. They actually lost the command tank because of it. They call it an artillery strike, but unless they actually didn't. No, there is the artillery strike. But I think the Soviets actually got the upper hand, the better thing out of that deal, to be honest. Lots of artillery being called in though. How Untersturmführer, I suppose it is still around, calling in artillery strikes. Taking out that Dushka crew and destroying the Dushka itself. We have a Maxim holding down here still. So it's just sending more and more troops around. Oh, good shot from the Sis! That's the thing you have to worry about when fighting is facing a Sis gun, because they can actually turn into a small artillery piece. Because the Sis is not an anti-tank gun, it's a field gun. It's a very different concept of a weapon. Oh yeah, those Sis guns are actually doing a lot of work now. Afraid at range. If we have time to call in more artillery strikes. Currently it's still a stalemate. D-34 grabbed off the ground here by the Untersturmführer. That's going to make him a very good unit at holding the ground. He's trying to be called in here by the Soviet lieutenants. More Maxims are arriving. Oh, smoke bright. Very smart. That's going to allow the Soviets to grab the weapons off the ground. In the 42s and MG-34s for the Frontline. Not a bad haul at all. Man just needs to stay alive. They're gonna be range to the MP44. The Max is sitting up here. I think we still have the Panzer II. Yeah, Panzer II is still around. And there's a lot of good fighting going on here. Much more rapid action battle, I'll say that. Looks like the Sergeant Lieutenant makes it barely. Oh, they're using a conscript to keep this Maxim reinforced, despite being under fire. That's actually really smart. Because that way, it will win out against the MG in time. They're just pumping new men into the squad every now and then. That's actually really good Soviet play right there. Also, I think quite cost effective if you can actually manage to do the micro for it. Germans are trying to go for the central victory points. Maxim is waiting here for the smoke to clear. Focus lasting for a while though, so I think the Germans have it. And the Germans have the point. That might be that score. Oh, losing a Sturm Grenadier to take the point though. I don't think that's worth it. What's it bekommen here by Untersturmführer? Oh, we have a good fight here. We have a good fight here, everyone. Constant Eastern Front action right here. That's what I like to see. The Eastern Front is kind of my favorite setting of Company of Heroes 2, to be honest. Even if I do consider the United States my favorite personal faction, I do think the Eastern Front battles are the most intense that you could play with. Oh, big smoke barrage up here allowing the Soviets to advance. I did not see that. Very good play there from the Soviet Union. Allow them to take that fuel point. Overall, good play from Alucard using their smoke abilities. Utilizing smoke is very important. It's going to give them a little bit more fuel to work with. Now they have the Siberians in the trench covering the area. And range of the... No, they're not in range of the machine gun, actually. You have Ostwind trying to push up here, but the Ostwind is not the most armored vehicle. Has a pretty thin armored turret. It's an obvious target for the Cis guns. Your hull is the same as the Panzer IV's, but that turret is a very obnoxious target. Artillery going in. Both sides have used their artillery and abilities quite well. And looks like the machine gun here managed to survive. Lewis are preparing for another push. I tried to go for the central point this time. Looks like they are going for the Lux, keeping an eye on it though. And Lux is going to be good at dealing with all this infantry. This gun is sitting up here, but it cannot hit it. Oh, it can hit it. Yeah, it has line of sight somehow. Has to hit it one more time and penetrate, but the Soviet infantry is pulling back. That's 4J now in the fields. I think the Soviets need some more AT equipment. Indeed, we are gonna see a second CIS. Ostwind just keeps hitting the hill here. Not the best terrain for an Ostwind. Again, the Ostwind is not designed to fight infantry or light vehicles, it's designed to actually fight aircraft. It's an anti-aircraft unit. Not that the Soviets are using any of the Red Air Force today, but you probably get what I mean. Glad that the Soviets managed to steal those German machine guns. That's going to be very useful in their frontal wiki. Oh, we're gonna see a 100mm AC gun set up here. That will keep the German tanks at bay. There's a first opening fire. There's spreading out, realizing oh, not do that much though. Fortunately, just destroy the house. And immediately just took his first pulse back afterwards. That's actually pretty smart. Want to keep that thing safe. Looks like we have the Ostwind gone. Let's go for a CIS gun. Pull back to this command and medic bunker. They can heal up. We still control the field point here thanks to the Siberians. Smoke barrage earlier. We have a barrage going in and the central point might be smoke. A barrage from both factions? One is doing axial artillery, the other is doing smoke. What timing? So we're moving in into the smoke now. And the Lux is trying to do some artillery into the smoke. Lux managed to decapture the point at least. Once the smoke clears, those Doom Pioneers are going to get mowed down. That's a big deal though, because as the Germans lose units, they're going to have a lot harder time replacing them than the Soviets. The Germans can replace their units a lot easier. Let's see some other units come in. Is there another Sturmgrenadier? Need another Sturmgrenadier. There's basically no infantry left for commando section. Oh, that's not bad. That's not good at all. You know, the Soviets are digging in and just fortifying. Aiming for the worst. This has been a good, intense battle so far. I'm liking this one a lot. Very good fight. This bunker might be hit though. It's going to take now with the assist gun. Outpost going up to increase the manpower income of the Soviets. So they can keep the units pumping out.
Listen, replacements have arrived.
A recon team coming out for the tank destroyer commander as well. As the Soviets prepare for another push. Some smoke there. Or the assembly set up here by the other Soviet player raising the red banner. The banner of the revolution. Being held here by the lieutenants. Might be another smoke barrage. Look at this. Very good usage of smoke here. But just as it's going on, the Germans are preparing their own artillery strike. Of actual artillery. So the Soviets are mostly dodging it. Who's firing again? Probably aiming around here. Yep. The Soviets managed to secure the point. Germans are now starting to bleed resources. That's a lot of machine gun bullets coming their way though. They're pinned. I don't think they can do much. They might have to just get out of there. Yeah, they just pinned. They cannot do anything. The Soviets are riding around, setting up another 100mm. Gonna make it very difficult for the Germans to get any heavy tanks out. And you know, both German players are playing as a tank, or well, Panzer. So there are no heavy tanks on the menu. Panthers and Tigers. Germans are having issues at the moment, I feel. Big issues. And let's have a fortified position around the 100mm. That's good. That's actually going to help defend it. Very good play there from the Soviets. Really digging in here. It's a good defensive Soviet play. When it's a victory point match, means they really do fight over these victory points. The fight's somewhat static though, but that's not a bad thing necessarily. I've had a lot of action in a very short amount of time because of it.
What do you need?
Germans are trying to push up here with some Panzer. Oh! Some Panzer Force, but the 100mm opens fire! Yeah, the Panzer Force cannot do much to the 100mm. That's a big gun. Real big gun. I think the Soviets decided to go that way after noticing that both Germans went for Panzer, so the Germans are kind of limited in their options now because of their commander choices. Both deciding to go for panzer tactics, and the Soviets basically going for digging in and anti-tank tactics. No smoke rush, which is going to allow the Soviets to advance. Might be rushing for this point here. Overall, good play from Alucard. They're still going to get pinned down by a lot of things. They're going that way. Lieutenant took it, but he's still alive. When that's a Gebalteladung. Just has to pull back. You have the Siberians now moving up to cover the area. Siberians are very efficient infantry, especially long range. And you're going to see Panthers starting to arrive soon. I think is what the Germans are banking on. It's what is going to help them push through. Germans have the southern flank commander section has no infantry, only an Aufklärer and machine guns, which is not necessarily infantry. That's just the defensive units, support teams. And Kakabu only has one Sturm Grenadier. Ooh. Those 2 Panzerjägers, but those are not not aggressive infantry. Ooh, not looking good. That's Sturm Grenadiers in big trouble. We're too quickly rushing up here. Panther tank has arrived. Let's see what the Panther can do. Lots of Soviets are advancing though. Very good play from Alucard here. Lots of Soviet infantry. Even support with them. Panther's coming up behind SEGA with another 100mm. They're just digging in with 100mm across the entire front. We want to make this a nightmare for German panzers to advance on. Which I suppose makes a lot of sense. Mobility damage there. Thanks to the PTIS and PTRD. I think it's PTIS. Yeah, it's a PTIS. More smoke rise is going out. Alucard is using smoke a lot, which is very good. It's coming up to try and supplement. Just has to pull back. Maybe too much action coming that way, but that's a dead looks. First the Siska and now 100mm shell just flat. Oh, still some Fus. Only hit the front of it, did not do a lot of damage to the formation. Germans need infantry to push, because they cannot just push the Panther up without any infantry support here. If they do, it'll just get shot to pieces. German vehicles are suffering heavy losses. Including losing a Panzer IV command tank there. 2 of the 3 points in our Soviet hands. Soviets do have this covered, I think. At least it feels that way to me. More Soviet infantry is riding here. This lieutenant has been quite active. That's gonna be that Sturm Grenadier. Yep, Sturm Grenadier's gone. Germans are running out of any units. The Soviets just keep advancing and digging in. Those haven't even gotten a lot of tanks. Like, they are getting a... One of them is getting an Su-85. Apart from that, they haven't really gotten a lot of vehicles. Just a T-70 earlier. Alpha's fighting now. What's it being called in? More smoke. Again, Alucard's using a lot of smoke. It's good. And more fortified at 100mm position there. That's going to defend it. Just completely dug in. How are the Germans going to make a comeback from here as panzer tactics? They don't have the proper artillery. I suppose they have stupid Fuses, but they need the infantry to push up alongside. The stupid Fus does have a very long time to fire again, and quite costly to fire. There's an Su-85 up here as well, so that Panther might get outmanned soon. Defensive bunkers, it's good to see. Life of the Soviets. I like this.
Cobra, ready.
Fortifying their own bunkers. And another Stukas Fus has arrived. See if it's ever enough. Not hitting the most vital spots now. The sandbags are helping protect the thing. That's why you build sandbags like this around, because it actually does protect from shrapnel and shockwaves.
We are ready to go, comrade. We are awaiting orders.
French being dug here by the Siberians. Probably not what they came all the way from Siberia to do. I hear... Oh, that's Naval barrage coming in. Not really hitting anything, just hitting in the front of the formation. More smoke barrage. I think the lieutenant should probably pull back. No, they can reinforce here though, thanks to the bunker. Now the Soviets are going to try and take the point. Germans just slowly being pushed further and further back now. And I've not seen a Soviet fortified play this good in a long time. That's a big old front line here with lots of fortifications. Really creeping forward to the German positions. Germans doing their best just to hold them off.
Mortar team reports ready for combat. Ready to move.
Heavy mortar arriving here. An opening fire as well. They're trying to destroy the building. They're just really demolishing everything in their path. Honestly, really good play. We have another Stukas Fus arriving, so Germans are really doubling down the Stukas Fus and praying they will save them. They afford to keep them going. Question I'm wondering. It's not cheap to keep these rockets firing constantly. Oh, we have double Stukas Fus from both players, oh god. I don't think they can afford that. It's just gonna be so costly for them to do. Also, we have a big artillery strike being prepared here by the Soviet Capitan. Or they're gonna flatten this part. They're gonna flatten this little farm area. Yeah. That's what the Soviets do. Who's firing again? I'm not sure what. But they're trying to destroy fortifications still. Not really helping. Half so far. Oh! The SU. Oh, it's an SU 100 and SU 5. No wonder I just straight through the Panther. And these Soviets have just been ripping into the Germans here. The Germans also doing an assault in the center. They lack the infantry to push. The Soviets just have more than enough infantry all the time. More rockets coming in. Now the thing is, the Stukas Fus mostly stuns infantry. So you need to have infantry to push up just as they hit, because that way you can ensure that the enemy infantry remains pinned to the ground, unable to fight. Overall, the Germans just don't have the means to make the best use of their Stukas Fus at the moment. I think they overinvested in them. They most definitely do not need to in this kind of situation. Again, just my opinion. Soviets are just getting more units. They are running low on infantry somewhat. No, they still have that one to be good. Siberians are pushing up slowly. There's just not enough to stop them. Soviets can just launch another big infantry assault, I think. He's all healed up. Rifle commander could definitely just prepare a lot of conscripts if they wanted. Have the Siberians pushing up again. Once they can come out to support them. And I don't see a lot to stop them. The Soviets are just advancing now. Austrian being prepared in desperation, I imagine. The Soviets just advance endlessly. We're going to try and stop the central point again, but the Soviets can just move on to it. And the Germans pull back again. Companies are doing their best to hold, but it's not going to be enough. Because the Soviets know where the Fort HQ is. Who's fine? These rockets just keep coming, but they're not doing a lot. It's just too fortified in. Fort HQ down, SU-100 took it out. Train set up, which I imagine that Dushka is going to enter. So the Soviets are slowly creeping up with their fortifications. Rockets going in. Again, not hitting much. There's no infantry left for Kakabu. That is not good. That is not good at all. Also, with first firing. I can afford to fight them, although is what surprises me. Rockets not hitting that much. Oh, the heavy mortar hits close enough to destroy it. Oh god. Ampa is being prepared, but at this point the Germans surrender as the Soviets push up further. Can be expected. A shorter match, but I'm fine with it. Also gave me a chance to test out some of my new microphone settings, which I appreciate. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye!